My dearest friend, I find myself once again sitting beneath the vast stretch of the night sky, writing to you as I often do when the world falls quiet and the shadows grow long. It has become almost second nature for me to reach for my pen and ink, to pour my thoughts onto the page as if by doing so I could bridge the miles, the years, the countless moments between us. You have been a constant, a presence that has shaped my life in ways that I could never have imagined. And though we are worlds apart in time and space, I know that this letter will somehow reach you, wherever you may be. As I sit here, I can't help but reflect on all the memories we've created together, the adventures we've shared, the places we've been, and the countless moments where, despite the centuries that have passed, you have always been there. You have been my confidant, my companion, and perhaps most remarkably, a guide into the world I could never have fully understood without you. Do you remember our first meeting? How could I forget? How could I ever forget? I was young, full of questions and naive curiosity. And there you were, so much older and wiser than I could have imagined. And yet, somehow you saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. There was a moment, a brief instant, when I thought you might end my life. I had wandered too close to the shadows, too deep into your world, and you could have easily taken me, just as you had taken so many others before. But instead, you spared me. And in that single act of mercy, you changed everything. You chose not to end me. You chose to show me a new way of seeing the world. You gave me the gift of your friendship, and for that, I will be eternally grateful. How strange it is to think that what could have been the last night of my life instead became the first night of an adventure that would span centuries, filled with laughter, awe, and shared stories. I know I could never have asked for a more incredible companion than you, and though there were times when I feared the darkness, you were always there. Your presence both a comfort and a reminder that we are never truly alone. You've shown me so much, more than anyone else ever could have. Through your eyes, I have seen the world in ways no mortal ever could. I have experienced the thrill of walking through ancient cities, the sense of wonder in seeing the stars from forgotten places, the beauty of moments suspended in time. With you, I have visited distant lands, explored hidden corners of the earth, and felt the pulse of life in every place we've been. Every new horizon has been a story waiting to be told, and with you by my side, I've learned how to tell those stories. Stories that have become the foundation of my writing. Do you know how much I owe you for that? It was never just your adventures that inspired me. It was you, yourself. Your patience with me, your gentle encouragement, your willingness to share your vast knowledge of the world, and even your quieter moments when you allowed me to observe your thoughts without question. You never rushed me, never dismissed my ideas, and instead, you nurtured my creativity, even in times when I doubted myself. You showed me that there is a beauty in the dark, in the forgotten corners, in the stories untold. And because of that, my words have been able to flow in ways they never could have before. I still remember the first time I ventured with you into the heart of an ancient forest. One of those places where time seemed to stand still, and the trees whispered stories of those who had walked before. I remember the way the light filtered through the canopy, the way you seemed to glide through the shadows as if they were part of you. In that moment, I understood something important. I understood that the world is far greater than what I had once imagined. The beauty, the mystery, the magic, it was all there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And it was you, my dear friend, who showed me how to look beyond the surface, how to peer into the shadows, and uncover the stories that lie beneath. Your presence has enriched my life in ways I will never fully be able to express. But I will try, as best as I can, in these words. I think more than anything, what I cherish most is the way you've helped me to see the world through your eyes. When I first met you, I had no idea how much you had seen, how much you had lived through, and how your perspective on the world was colored by the centuries you had walked. Yet it was never in a way that made me feel small. Instead, it was in the way you shared your experiences with such grace, such humility. You made me feel as though I, too, had a place in this vast world, and you never made me feel as if my mortal life was insignificant. Even when you would tell me tales of your adventures, of kingdoms you'd watch rise and fall, of empires that had long since crumbled to dust, of civilizations I could only dream of knowing, you always spoke with such reverence for the fleeting beauty of human existence. It was as though you understood that time is precious, not because it lasts, but because it is brief. And because of that, every moment, every experiences, every fleeting second becomes all the more meaningful. You taught me to appreciate life, not just in the grand gestures, but in the quiet moments, the laughter shared with friends, the simple beauty of sunset, the stories we create together. I often find myself reflecting on the moments we've shared, and I laugh to myself at how you must have rolled your eyes at some of my more mortal concerns. There were times when I would fret over things that, now that I look back, seem so trivial. And yet, you never judged me. Instead, you listened with patience, and sometimes, you even offer the most sage advice, reminding me that my worries, though small in the grand scheme of things, still mattered. You helped me grow in ways I never expected, and for that, I am forever in your debt. And I must say, I am still so grateful that despite all the temptation, you never took my life that night. How foolish I was to walk so recklessly into your world, and yet, you spared me, and in doing so, you gave me the chance to see things beyond my wildest dreams. I often wonder, when I think back on those early days, what would have happened if you had taken me then? If I had never known the warmth of the sun on my face again? Or if I had never had the chance to experience life as I have? But of course, I know the answer. I would not have had this life, this friendship, this understanding of the world that you have gifted me. So, I suppose I should thank you for every moment we've shared, for every lesson you've taught me, and for every adventure we've embarked upon together. It's strange, isn't it? How life can take us in unexpected directions. How a chance meeting, a single choice, can alter the course of everything that comes after it. I often find myself wondering how different my life would have been if I had never met you. Would I have ever become the writer I am today? Would I have ever truly seen the world? Or would I have been content with a life of small, safe dreams? I suppose I will never know the answer to that. But I do know this. Because of you, I've learned to live more fully, more deeply, and with more passion than I ever thought possible. There are times, too, when I can't help but think of the many other lives you've touched in your long existence. I know from the stories you've shared that you've seen many friends come and go, many loved ones lost to time's cruel hand. And yet, you have always remained constant, always a steady presence, even when the world around you changes beyond recognition. I wonder if you ever tire of it all, of the endless passage of time, of the way people come and go. But then again, I think perhaps that is the very thing that makes you who you are. Unshaken by the world's nature, steady in your own place within it. I know that we may never be together in the way that others might imagine. A mortal and an immortal, two beings from worlds so vastly different. But, my dear friend, I don't need anything more than this. I don't need promises of forever or grand declarations of love. What I need, what I am most grateful for, is your friendship. It is enough to know that you exist, that you are out there in the world, that you are still watching over me, even from afar. It is enough to know that when I write, when I sit down with my thoughts and my pen, I can still hear your voice in the back of my mind, guiding me, inspiring me, and reminding me that the world is never truly as dark as it sometimes seems. So, thank you, my dear friend. Thank you for your endless patience, for your unwavering support, for your guidance, and most of all, for your friendship. I am who I am because of you, and I will carry the lessons you've taught me for the rest of my days, no matter how many there may be. Wherever you are, and wherever you go, I hope you know that I am thinking of you with fondness, with gratitude, and with love. You will always have a special place in my heart, a place in the shadows where the light never quite reaches, and yet it is where the warmth of our bond resides. Until the next adventure, until our paths cross again, know that you are never far from my thoughts. Yours always, Ashlynn.